Good morning, friend. As I was walking the well-worn path I take to check the mail, I was struck by the shifting of the light. The daylight hours have begun to lengthen, and although last year's raspberries are still locked inside the frost, there's a hope in the air. The days of February pass so quickly, I always find. I relish in the bright sunny days with the knee-deep snow. And then, all of a sudden, towards the end of the month, something changes in the air. Is it the smell of sap, or the sounds of the winter birds changing their tune? The icicles begin to drip, and although the night temperatures remain cold, the daytime ones begin to rise above freezing, and it's time. For what, you may ask? To head into the woods with our trusty pails, spigots, and a lot of patience. Up here in Canada, the sap has begun to run, or should I say, drip and drip and drip. It reminds me of that poem, "Little drops of water, little grains of sand, make the mighty ocean and the pleasant land. Thus the little minutes, humble though they be, make the mighty ages of eternity." I often find the more I stop and ponder the beauties of creation, the more I see the parallels between my Christian walk and enjoy the daily occurrences that I often speed by without even noticing. There's a sugar bush near us that teaches the history behind sugaring and how it was discovered. They have stations for each technique and advancement, but at the heart of it, gathering sap is quite simple. Anyone can do it. Our setup is a simple one, and by no means do we claim to be doing it the most efficient way. This is just the way we collect and preserve sap, and we would love it if you joined us. So grab a cup of tea and enjoy these last quiet days of winter with us. Up here in Canada, we find our supplies at a local Peavey Mart, which is a hardware store carrying lots of homestead supplies. Last year I headed into the store with trepidation to the maple syrup aisle, a little overwhelmed with just what to buy to get started. I must have picked a good day, because there was a seasoned tapper there as well, replenishing his supplies. He quickly assured me of its simplicity, and out I walked with a few pails, lids, spigots, and filters. I've listed the items that I use in the description box below if you would like to try tapping and collecting maple sap as well. Besides the items I mentioned earlier, you're going to need some tool to bore a hole the size of the spigot into the side of the maple tree. We use our cordless drill for this. After drilling the hole, we pop in the spigot and attach our pail to the hook at its end. Putting the lid on the pail is a good idea, especially if you have feeder birds nearby. They can make quite a mess with their seeds, and as we learned last year, can make filtering the collected sap a much longer job. And then, my friends, it's simple. You sit back and watch in amazement as out of the tree comes the sugary goodness of sap, drip by drip. As the pails fill up, we collect them into our large stock pot and begin a slow steaming off of the sap. As I was mentioning earlier, collecting sap requires patience. It's not something that can be done in a few hours or even a day or two. It takes patience, as this step is repeated over and over until the sap stops running. The ratio for maple syrup is 40:1, which means that for me to have 1 pail's worth of maple syrup, I can expect to cook down 40 pails of sap. It's a long undertaking, but it is so worth it in the end. The taste of homemade maple syrup is so delicious. We store our syrup in mason jars in our root cellar, but the hardware store sells special bottles that you can purchase for preserving. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with us as we harvested the first fruits of the year from our Canadian homestead. Be sure to hit that thumbs up if you've enjoyed this episode of the Canadian Potager, and subscribe to receive notifications for more videos in the future. Happy tapping!